Welcome back to part 2 of Eldar versus Orks. So we're in the Orks turn, the big shooters in the truck on the Wraith Lord, no hits, and the Dread runs. These boys are going to shoot into the Fire Dragons.
Oh, look at those tits. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Mick. And so the brown dice are the big shooters, and we have a lot of hits and 3s to wound. So we got a lot of wounds. So the Fire Dragons 4+ armor save and failing 3, so 3 are removed. Overwatch on the Orcs with 2 flamers, 5 hits and 2 die.
Yeah, 6 to complete the thing.
So the Orcs fail the charge. Now we're charging into the Fire Dragons. Overwatch with the Fire Dragons, no hits. Difficult terrain, but they easily make it and pile into those Fire Dragons there. So the Fire Dragons go first. 1 hit, no wounds. A lot of attacks, white being the knob. And the knob does 1 wound. And so the Fire Dragons roll 4+ armor save and roll really well, and only 2 died. So we didn't roll enough dice because we thought they'd all die, so the rest of the Orcs now attack, and 1 more failed, so they all die. So now we have a challenge with the mech challenging Eldar. Eldar decline with the Warlock. And so now the Eldar goes first, white being Eldrad. And so we have 1 no armor save and 2 wounds from the Wraith Guard. And he fails 2. So they consolidate 4 inches. And just to sum up, so that's the end of the turn. So main thing was a bit of flaming going on down the bottom, but still no charge. And we've basically got the Fire Dragons now gone with all those Orcs piling in, and those burners were pinned last turn. The big mech's dead, so the Eldar have moved up, and not much else has really happened this turn. And over here, well, we've got the Scorpions down in that little bunker which got hammered by the cans and lost 6 Scorpions, but they're fearless because of the Phoenix Lord. So Eldar turn 2. We'll start off with some Wraith Sight, so he's all good, and the other Wraith Lord is fine. The other one's within 12 inches of the Farseer, so doesn't need to roll. So Psychic Powers, Eldrad, Fortune on himself. He now casts Doom on those Orcs that kill the Fire Dragon, gets a Perils, 3+ Ghost Helm, and actually fails it. Deny the Witch failed, so there's Eldrad down to 2 wounds. What's the chances? The other Farseer guide on the Die Avengers. The Wraiths here feel no pain on himself. So just rolling reserves, the Bikes are in, the Spiders are in, and so are the Warwalkers. So Warwalkers are outflanking, so I get to choose which side. So I bring them in to right near the Orc Bikers, and deep striking the Scorpions. Scatter off a little bit, but that's alright. And they are there. So just moving into perspective, the Spiders have pretty much gone into the rear lines. Jet Bikes are moving up along the flank, and the Vipers just move, so they get their jink. The Wraith Lord moves into flame. The Wave Serpent gets the hell out of there. And now we've got the Warp Hunter just moving into a nice firing position, so he doesn't have to, so he can minus his BS. The Knife Hunter moves as well to get line of sight, as does the Fire Prism. And the Wave Serpent with the Die Avengers moves up just to get behind some cover. Wraith Lord moves up, another Wraith Lord moves up, and so do the Wraith Guard, who are in difficult terrain, but only get a 4. So they're being quite slow, and their short range are annoying. So the Avatar moves up to charge those Orc boys. And the Wraithseer comes up as well, just to keep near those Wraith Guard. So the Scorpions, who have moved through cover, just move through the building there, up close to the looters. The Vipers shoot their plasma cannons. 1 scatters off, hits 1. Second one scatters again, and he also hits 1. And the last one scatters all the way off onto the other squad, and hits 1, but also hits the Wraith Lord, but is the strength only 4, so can't wound it. So no wounds there, no wounds there, so good job, Vipers. The Shuriken Cannon's in range, so gets 2 hits or 2 wounds, so 2 die, and Flamer.
Warning flame. Laws. Kill. Oh, I like that.
2.
I like that.
Oh my goodness. 2 out of how many?
14.
Nice rolling. So the Warp Hunter hits and aims the middle of the template on the knob. So they all wound. Well, they're doomed, so they're all wounded. So the Orc needs 6 lookout sirs, fails enough, so the knob dies, and so does a few Orcs. So a Bright Lance goes for the Battle Wagon, but doesn't pen. The Wraith Seer shoots its D cannon, but scatters off and hits nothing. The Night Spinner hits the middle of the template on the Pain Boy and gets a hit, so they're all on him now, and they're all wounded. 2+ lookout sir fails 1. He has his armor save, fails it. Feel no pain, fails it. So the Pain Boy with 1 wound is actually been sniped. So now we've got 1 normal knob or orc, fails its armor, fails feel no pain. Next in line is now the knob, so feel no pain, failed. Lookout sir passed, armor saved, failed. Feel no pain, passed. Lookout sir failed, armor save, passed. The Wraith Guard run, and we're going to shooting the Bright Lance from this Wraith Lord into the Death Dread, doesn't do anything, and the second Wraith Lord gets a glance, gets a cover save, but fails it. So hull point off him, he's down to 2. The Bright Lance just had line of sight, does a wound, and it's got its 4+ smoke cover save, and it passes. So the Warwalkers with their scatter lasers now into the Knob Bikers. Few hits, few wounds, 4+ cover save, and fails 3. So 1 bike dies and 1's down to 1. The Fire Prism hits with its large blast, needing 3s to wound. It has its 5+ cover save, 5+ feel no pain, and so a few Orcs die there. So now the Dark Reapers are shooting, and the Exarch with his 2 shots with the missile launcher wounds both, and the normal Dark Reapers now need 4s, get a few, and he's got a 4+ cover save and fails 3, which finishes them off. So now the Warp Spiders shooting into the cans. The Exarch needs 2s to hit, gets all of them. The other boys now needing 3s. I accidentally counted a couple of 2s, I think. But needs 5s to glance, and as you can see, easily glance it to death. We just roll the pens to see if there's any explosions, but there's not. So with 6 hull points all up, they were easily destroyed. The Wraith Lords now needs a 10 to charge and gets a 9, so just fails. The Scorpions declare their charge, look out sir, Overwatch, and does 2 wounds, but the Phoenix Lord's in front, so he has a 2+ save and passes both. Roll the charge. Got this one wrong, thought they had fleet, but they don't. And the Avatar charges, they Overwatch, get a few hits, and does 2 wounds, and I have a 3+ save, and actually fail, so the Avatar loses. So the Wraith Lord fails his charge as well, so it's a bit comical, and the Warp Spiders teleport out of the road. So we've got this combat here with the Scorpions going first, and they managed to do, I think, 4 wounds. So now the next initiative is the Looters, so they all move 3 inches down. They have a swing, do a couple of wounds, 3+ armor save, and I actually failed, and they looks like they did 1 wound, so I failed that. So now the Phoenix Lord attacks with his power fists and kills 3 more. So leadership has failed, and we realised that with the initiative of 7 on the Phoenix Lord, they couldn't fail it.
The Avatar respond to that.
3s. 2s.
Oh, nothing! 3 1s.
So the Avatar fails to do any wounds, and the Orc boys now move up. They need 5s to hit, and 6s to wound, but don't do any wounds, so a drawn combat. So we have Orcs turn 2, rolling for reserves, and pretty much everything comes in. So we have the Storm Boys deep striking, they scatter towards the Night Spinner, and because of the large, the size of the squad being 20, we realise that they can't be within 1 inch.
So that's gone to miss that roll on the table.
Oh no.
And so all those Storm Boys plus the special character are now destroyed, which is about 400 points. So not a good day for the Orcs, but funny at the same time. So the Copters move up, behind the Warp Hunter. The plane comes in to take out the Warwalkers, and the
Goes rallying.
commandos come in.
2d6. Snake Eyes. Hey, rally!
So the tank busters rally, move their 3 inches. I think that might be a 5th edition rule. I can't remember if you can do it or not. Death Dread comes up, and the boys are all moving up to make sure that they can get into charge range. Looted Wagon comes up, and the truck moves up as well. So the Burner boys are just moving out of the crater. They're going to join the fight with the Avatar. And the las cannon has the interceptor, so with the Exarch giving 2 shots, he gets 1 hit, he dives but fails the save, and boom. So the Orc jet comes in and gets hit by the interceptor las cannon. So now we have the rockets from the copters shooting the back of the Warp Hunter. We realise that we did this wrong because they move 24 inches and they can only move 12 to shoot. So a hull point is taken off, but we fix that up a bit later. Orc shoots its big shooters, and the Vipers gets a hit, but fails to do anything. And the bloody Battle Wagon shoots at the Wraithseer, but doesn't do anything. Tank Busters snapshot into the Wave Serpent, gets a hit and a pen, fails the Jink, and it can't move or shoot, and it's lost a hull point as well. So the Looted Wagon rolls, it does scatter an inch and does get a few hits, does a few wounds, is behind a wall, so it has a 4+ cover save, reroll, plus feel no pain, so they all survive. Big shooters snap shoot, but don't get anything. So the Zap Gun gets a strength 9 hit, but misses with both. Rolling the leadership for these boys to shoot into the Wraith Guard, just checking for range. And so the Browns are the big shooters, and it needs 5s and 6s to wound, so we get 3 wounds and 3+ armor save. So Commandos are going to shoot into the back of the Fire Prism, and they get 1 glance, and I go for my Jink but fail it, so it's a hull point off the Fire Prism down to 2. So now we've got to Overwatch on these Orcs, get 5 hits with the Flamers and actually take out 4. And we're just rolling for distances, so they're all fine. So we've got the combat here. So now the Death Dread is going to charge the Wraith Lord, and Overwatch with the Bright Lance, but don't get anything. Here's where we realise that the Copters can't actually move that far, so we said, well, they would shoot the Vipers, so we did the whole point off the Viper instead. And now they go to charge the Vipers, which we realise you can't do either, so we fix that up later. So Burners are now going to join that combat. They didn't shoot, so they're going to use power weapons this turn. And here's us realising we're douchebags and can't remember rules, so we move them back. So I challenge an Orc Nob, and he decides to decline that, so he gets moved off, so that he can still attack with the other Nob. So the Wraith Lord goes to hit, gets a precision strike, so I allocate that to the Nob that's not in the challenge, and I kill a normal Nob, and I roll a 2+ to instant kill the Nob, and get it. He's got a 4+, look out sir, and he fails it. So 1 Nob's out of the combat, and the other Nob's actually being squished by the Power Fist. So the Orcs fail a leadership test because they lost by 2 or 3. He boss poles and then makes it, and the other squad gets a Snake Eyes. So they both don't flee. So the Avatar goes to hit, does 4 wounds. He gets to choose who in base to base, so he just chooses 4 normal boys, and it's now his move in or pile in move. So these are the Burners with the power weapons. And he does get a wound, 4+ invulnerable, which I fail. So the Avatar's now down to 1 wound. And the normal boys do squat, and so they've lost combat, and the Burners fail, and the boys fail. Initiative roll, Avatar gets a 4, and so easily catches and slays both those squads like a boss. So now we have the Wraith Lord and the Death Dread. The Wraith Lord gets 1 hit and does a pen, and it gets an immobilized because it's +1 being AP2. So Death Dread now attacks and does 2 wounds, so we've got 1 hull point versus 1 wound left in that combat. So just recapping, the Avatar pretty much cleaned up the center of the board, and the Scorpions cleaned up the looters, And looks like the Death Dread's probably going to fail soon. The Commandos came on. Big thing being that the Storm Boys, which really needed to help out, haven't done anything. So stay tuned for part 3.